Yo, 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 people and patrons of the night. It is your boy, the host of the Horror Tavern. It is the future Yujiro Hanma, and it is the Admiral of Horror itself. I am BD, the host of the Horror Tavern. Welcome back to my channel. I review all forms of horror media. I am a one-stop shop for all things horror. But today we're going to be veering off into different waters. All right, we're going to be venturing off into the Pacific this time because I'm going to be covering a Disney Channel original movie, which is in a lot of your minds probably the furthest thing from horror. You probably don't know how I can spin this review to fitting the content of my channel. But I can, believe me. I'm a master yapper, I'm a master manipulator, and this film has enough body horror and themes to it that kind of line up with some stuff that I've reviewed before in kids horror, like Deep Trouble, How I Learned to Fly, some of the more Disney Channel kind of stuff, and Are You Afraid of the Dark? So I'm gonna make it work. So today I'm going to be reviewing the 13th Year, 1999, a Disney Channel original movie. If you like this video and you enjoy, please be sure to very kindly and very gently obliterate that subscribe button and like button as if your life depends on it. And without further ado, let's get into this review. So this was actually a Disney Channel original movie that I had never seen before, which is funny because it came out in 1999 and I was born in 2002. 21 years old at the moment, about to turn 22 in a couple of months. So this film would have been rerunning during my childhood, and it was, but I just so happened to never see it, and maybe if I did, I completely forgot that I saw it. So this was a first time watch for me a couple of weeks ago, when we decided to review it for the Goose Junkies podcast that I'm a part of. I'll link that episode of the Goose Junkies podcast at the description down below. So this movie is essentially dealing with the life of a 13-year-old boy and his birthday. The plot starts off with a fisherman who is essentially out on the ocean bay, and you see a mermaid woman who is out in the middle of the ocean by the dock, and she's swimming and she's got a little baby in her hands. And the fisherman spots this mermaid basically swimming. He thinks at first it might be like 100-pound catch or something. He goes after it, and soon, she basically starts trying to swim away and run away from him. And eventually she ends up putting her baby inside of this little boat net attached to a boat on the side of the dock, and then she attempts to swim away and divert the attention of the fisherman. And when he sees the mermaid, he freaks out. He thinks that she looks majestic and beautiful. He says this is a discovery of a lifetime and potentially the catch of a lifetime. But as he's mesmerized and she's waving and distracting him, his boat ends up crashing into the shore, and he basically ends up no longer being able to catch her or go after her. But he's going to remember this experience for the rest of his life. And the mermaid manages to swim away. And you then cut to 13 years later, where you now enter the life of a boy named Cody. And Cody is the main character of this movie. And you find out that he may or may not be, well, very much may be, the little baby that was left behind in the fishnet, because the couple that had the baby shown in the beginning ends up being his parents here. So you have the dad, played by Dave Collier. Shout out to Dave Collier, because I didn't know what his voice was from in his face, but then it literally took me 5 seconds to realize why he was so familiar as I was watching, because he's Joey from the sitcom back in the day, Full House. One of the most famous sitcoms of all time, arguably one of the greatest sitcoms out there. I absolutely love Full House. It's a great comfort show for me, especially when I was younger. So seeing Joey in here, yo, that's dope, man. He's always funny. He's always got a good personality for TV and movies, so great to see him here. And then you got the wife as well. And they're raising him. They kind of do these boat tours. I think it's like tiki boat tours, where they go around the dock area and the bay and sort of show around tourists. And Cody's working on the boat, and you find out that he actually is late for a swimming competition because he's part of the main swimming team at his high school. And he's very good on the team. He's like the second runner-up to another guy who's like his friend and rival. And as he basically tries to catch a boat ferry to get to his high school, he misses it. And then he ends up just straight up swimming through the ocean water gracefully until he gets on top of the ferry and makes it to his high school. And you see him compete. You see him come in second place to his rival, but you can tell right away that Cody's kind of like the big man on campus. He's very popular in the school. He's very well liked. He's the guy that a lot of kids look up to. Obviously, he's a star athlete, so he's got a lot of clout, which is unique for Disney Channel original movies because a lot of the time you end up getting these protagonists who are lesser known, sort of more nerdy, sort of more coming of age. But here he is coming of age, but he's already the man. So he's coming of age in a different way that you find out in the movie. And he's got a girl, which I think is named Samantha. She's very much into him. So he's got a good girlfriend. He's got basically a good high school life. He's got a good set of parents. His life is ideal right now. And he ends up running into this nerdy kid named Jess, who's part of the band team. He was playing during that swimming competition, and he ends up falling into the pool. You find out he's not able to swim, and Cody ends up jumping in there, saving him. And when Jess thinks that, oh man, this kid saved my life, he's popular, maybe this could be a new friend of mine, Cody walks away and basically kind of just dismisses him, pretends like it was a no big deal, and just sort of leaves him. So Jess is a little disappointed by that. But as his 13th birthday is approaching, you find out that in their biology class, they're actually going to be working together on a project, Jess and Cody, because they got paired up as partners, which kind of makes Cody feel a little bit weird because it's like, yo, he's the most popular kid in school, and this kid is an absolute nobody. He's really shy, really weird. So this pairing is sort of unique. And he ends up just inviting this kid to his 13th birthday party because why not? They're partners. And then eventually Jess does show up. He ends up getting dismissed by Cody, his swim rival, and his girlfriend because they didn't expect that this kid was going to show up. And even when he does, they sort of just brush him aside. So he's very disappointed and leaves, gives him a book, and just, rides away on his bike. And then when Samantha and Cody end up having like a little bit of a lover's moment, they kiss each other as she gives him a gift, which was a picture of her, which, by the way, I get it's a Disney Channel original movie. If my bitch gave me a picture of her, that shit is going straight into the dumpster, all right? It's my birthday, bro. I need a PS5. Shit, at least give me a PS5 controller. Shit, $100 would have done. Yo, I don't need this shit of a picture of you. That shit is going straight in the dumpster, my boy. Maybe after I do some things first. That aside, listen, that's just me. But he's appreciative of the gift. And after they kiss, there's like this weird electrical spark, and he suspects that something strange might have happened. And then as the story continues, you find out that Cody may or may not actually be turning back into his merman origins because he starts growing fish scales on his arm. He starts growing these little fins that start piercing through his skin and protruding out of his elbows. He finds out that he's able to climb on top of walls. He's got some electrical manipulation power that he can emanate from his body. And he has to basically disclose this information to his partner Jess because his partner Jess is a fisherman. And you find out that his dad, Jess's dad, was actually the fisherman who spotted the mermaid, aka Cody's actual mom back in the day. So there's some familial ties that come together. You find out that Jess, is really into marine biology. So he's one of the only people who sees the stuff that Cody's going through and has to help him out, has to give him mentorship. So while Jess is giving him mentorship about marine biology, potentially his origins, trying to figure out what's happening to Cody. Cody, in return, is basically teaching him swimming lessons, befriending him, and trying to basically help him out in life because he's always been that scrawny kid. Cody's helping him come of age, kind of become more of who he really needs to be, and at the same time, Jess, in turn, is helping Cody find out who he actually is. Not even though he's on top of the world at the moment, that's not who he really is. So both of them are sort of coming into each other's shoes where, Jess is very comfortable with himself. He understands who he is as a person, but he's not in that Chad Thundercock position. Meanwhile, Cody, as the protagonist, is in that Chad Thundercock position, but he doesn't actually know himself. He doesn't actually know who his real self is, and they both sort of give and take with each other on the friendship that they build. So that's essentially the plot of the story. You end up finding out the origins of, obviously, Cody. You end up getting some connections made, and there's some typical Disney Channel stuff that happens towards the ending. But overall, I have to say this movie is pretty good. I love the actors and actresses in this movie. I think they all do a good job. I think Cody is a good protagonist. His actor does a good job playing his sort of, innocent guy role. He's an innocent, happy guy who's on top of the world. He's the man on campus. So he sort of has to balance his nice, kind personality with the fact that he's popular and he's being gifted all these great things. Then you got Jess, who's your sort of typical Disney protagonist, but he's actually the side character in this one. He is a main character, but he's not the main protagonist. And he's sort of your more coming of age, nerdy kid who has to find out about, how he can be cool and how he can be on top of the world, stop being such a sissy and baby all the time and getting pushed around. So you got that whole dynamic. And the parents are great. The parents got a lot of funny stuff involving them. They're quirky, they're strange, but in a good way, very charming. And this movie was really strange for me because Cody, the main protagonist, looks like the younger brother of my IRL best friend. And my IRL best friend has a mother who's sort of not into modern science. She's into sort of like I wouldn't say pseudoscience, but that sort of other side of science of the medical world. And, the fact that the mother in this story is the same sort of way, I thought that was really funny. I just couldn't help but see my best friend's little brother in the main character, which sort of made it more of a connection to me because, I sort of have a personal connection to that. So it made the movie more fun, more charming to me, easier to digest. And the reason why I covered it on my horror channel, aside from the fact we did it on the Goose Junkies podcast as well, is because it does have body horror in it. It has the fact that he grows fish scales on him, which cover his body and look like a rash. And even though those are pretty tame, you got the terrifying scenes of these fins that start literally poking through his skin and coming off through his elbows, which are disgusting. They look like they're straight up piercing through his flesh, and that's so nasty. You got the whole idea of, his legs start turning into fins. He starts converting back to his merman form. So you got some body horror tied into the coming of age, puberty allegory. Much like Goosebumps, My Hairiest Adventure. And there's plenty of stories out there in kids horror they have horror aspects, but the whole stories are not that dark, like Deep Trouble. Deep Trouble and Goosebumps dealt with mermaids. Here you got mermaids. How I Learned to Fly. How I Learned to Fly was a Disney Channel original movie. Kids getting powers, coming of age, becoming and learning themselves, kind of becoming the man. It's got some rivalry going on. Some of those aspects are in this as well. So this film has some decent body horror there where you actually will get freaked out and scared. And there's some disturbing imagery throughout the movie showing like mermen, like the origins of mermen in like books and stuff that Jess's dad is studying, as he's kind of like this head fisherman who looks for sort of mythical fish and creatures. So there's some disturbing depictions in there. You obviously got the dynamic of Cody trying to figure out his powers, learning how he can use them to his own gain, and at the same time trying to become normal as he can be, considering what race he's a part of. So you got all that stuff going on, and you got some good character development because Cody, by the end of the movie, obviously learns about who he is. You have a nice moment between his adoptive mom and his biological mermaid mom, where they sort of have to trade their kid, find out where he's gonna go, and it's very tough. It's a good scene of the adoptive mom because this has been her son for 13 years. They didn't have a kid. They adopted this kid that was left on the boat, and now she has to decide, like, is it good for my child to be with his biological mom, be a part of the race that he is, or should I let him keep enjoying the human life? So that's a nice deeper theme that's at the end of the movie. And Jess, he has a moment where he ends up actually saving an important character. He actually ends up standing up to his dad and defying his dad's expectations of him. And he ends up saving somebody that's close to one of his best friends. And he ends up getting some Chad Thundercock moments at the end of the movie. Like when he tells Cody, because he ends up basically diving into the ocean to save somebody. He ends up almost drowning, and when he gets out, Samantha, Cody's girlfriend, starts performing CPR on him because she knows how to do that, and brings him essentially back to life with the help of Cody using maybe potentially those electrical powers. And when Jess wakes up, he's like, yo, Cody, was I dreaming or was your girlfriend making out with me? Hey, yo, That is Homo erectus thundercoccus, bro. Yo, am I dreaming or was your girlfriend making out with me? That's a fucking Chad line right there, bro. I was like, hey, yo, this man is leveling up in here. So that was really cool to see the fact that, obviously he does become sort of the man on campus figure with still his old weird charm. And Cody ends up deciding how to basically help out his family in the best of ways and become the guy that he's really supposed to be. So, very touching film, very charming. It's got a lot of good aspects in there, and it's got good body horror. So if you're afraid of the ocean, if you're afraid of fish and scared of those things, and you got like triphobia or whatever it is, I think this movie is going to at least freak you out in those scenes. But at the end of the day, it's just a fun, good movie to watch, and it brings that Disney Channel original movie charm. Is it the greatest of the Disney Channel original movies? Not at all. There's much better ones out there. But this one, I'd give it a 7.5 out of 10. I'd say it's pretty good, and if it's the summertime right now, which for me it is, I think you guys should watch this for the summer. If you love it, watch it every summer, and go out to the beach and just enjoy the embodiment and the atmosphere of this movie, because this movie embodies the summertime very, very well and brings back a lot of Disney Channel nostalgia that was within my old life. And that's all I got for today. If you guys like this review, once again, gently smash that subscribe button and like button like your life depends on it. Gets my videos out there on YouTube into the algorithm, lets you guys enjoy this content. I always want to feel like a friend that's talking to you about this media that we all share and love. So if you enjoy that, also comment down below your thoughts. Have you watched this movie? Have you not? What are your thoughts about it? Do you like it? Do you dislike it? Where does it rank in terms of Disney Channel original movies for you? And if you've not seen it, go check it out and then let me know your thoughts later. And that's all I got for today. Hope you guys enjoyed, and stay tuned for more content to come on the next time we enter the Horror Tavern. Deuces. Yo, man. Like, I'm not gonna lie to you, bro. I can't stand fish. I can't mess with fish. But if I was able to produce electricity from my lips on any bitch that I kissed, shit, man, you don't know what you could be doing with those powers. Merman powers, here we go, baby.